Hey, everybody, welcome back. My name is Jahan, and I am a video game vocalist and a video game concert producer. And yeah, I'm back. Yeah, it's been a minute, guys. I'm so sorry. I've had to take a little bit of a break from producing reaction videos here on YouTube because I've been so swamped with work. So one of the first reasons why I've been so busy is because of my company, Epic, the concert production company. We've been busy planning our future projects, and that's taken up a lot of my time. And actually, one of these projects is a tour here in Switzerland. We are touring David Arkenstone here in Switzerland in fall 2025. Where he will be performing at several venues. I'm going to list a few of them here right here. David is a really good friend of ours, and he is a composer, an excellent performer, and he's actually known to be one of the World of Warcraft composers. He's known for writing, Celtic music, tavern style, and also this sort of new age music. And even, he's written music inspired by Middle Earth before the Lord of the Rings movies actually came out. So therefore, we are actually touring him here in Switzerland, and he's got his little troupe that he's performing with. So we are really excited about that. And we are also pretty busy as a result of that. So yeah, we're prepping a lot of things for that. Second reason why I've been so busy is because with my band, Jiggy Tones, we are preparing ourselves for several concerts and performances throughout the months of August, September, and October. So, and that includes performing at GAMESCOM and at Hero Fest. So I am so stoked about this. And if you guys have seen who is going to be at Hero Fest this year, then you will understand why I am so excited about this. Okay, reason number 4, I've been taking the time to work on my setup so I can start live streaming Clair Obscur Expedition 33. And I want you guys to join me on this adventure to see how I react to the game as I play through it. So I don't know when I'm going to do this yet. I'm hoping that I can do it for my birthday, which is on July 19th. If not, we'll do it at a later date. So yeah, it's been taking up a little bit of my time to set everything up, but I'm hoping that we can do this relatively soon. I do have some other anecdotes that I want to share with you guys, but I am going to keep that for the end of this video. So stick around, okay? All right. So now that I have all of that out of the way, let us talk about the music that we're going to be reacting to. We are going to be reacting to Woodkid to the Wilder from Death Stranding 2. Now, in one of my reaction videos, I've had someone comment saying that they would love to hear me react to Woodkid, and I thought it was a pretty good idea. And I'll tell you guys why. To be very honest with you guys, I did not know so much about Woodkid. In fact, I did not know much about him at all until I joined Epic. Because Woodkid is one of those music artists that actually composed music that has a lot of elements of epic music integrated into his songs, in which he has a tendency to mix, vocal performances with orchestrations and orchestral instruments and lots of percussive instruments and brass instruments. And those are specific instruments that are very synonymous to the epic music style. So very quickly, for those who don't know, epic music is a very general and broad term that can be compared to cinematic music. It is music that you hear often in movies and video games and TV shows, and it is used often to convey a story or to, set the mood for a very specific scene, situation, or setting. So, and oftentimes in epic music, you hear a lot of orchestral instruments like percussions, taikos, for example. You have a lot of strings, for sure, a lot of strings, very specific patterns. You have brass instruments. And very typically you have like, from brass instruments, you have French horns, trombones, trumpets, but more than often, it's more the French horns that are often thought of when we talk about epic music. Wind instruments as well, but to be very honest, I do not know so much about how wind instruments are best used in this kind of like music genre. This is something that I'm slowly learning as I'm working with Helvepic, because I become aware of certain orchestrations and instrumentations when we work on concert projects with choirs and orchestras. And yes, also in epic music, very often you have choirs. Now, what's so particular about Woodkid is that in the epic music style, you do not have like these sort of kind of like pop vibe. And the first time I heard about Woodkid was when I was taking flute lessons with one of my teachers, and he was telling me that he had gone to the famed Montreux Jazz Festival, and Woodkid had performed there with an orchestra, and that it was spectacular. I think it was back in 2018, and this performance apparently is one of the most iconic performances in recent years at Montreux Jazz Festival. Just very quick tidbit. Montreux Jazz Festival is one of the most well-known and famous jazz festivals here in Switzerland. A lot of very famous music artists, especially in the jazz genre, came here to perform there. In recent years, it has sort of expanded into the more modern jazz, pop, and variety, I guess. They have this really incredible stage in Montreux called the Auditorium Stravinsky, which I got to perform at with Tale of Fantasy, the Epic Music Association, which is orchestra and choir. So yeah, I got to perform there, and it's such a beautiful stage. And so Woodkid performed there, and this was the first time I heard about him, but I didn't really. It wasn't enough for me to go check him out, to listen to his stuff. But when I joined Helvepic and I started talking with the people who are very well versed in classical music as well as the epic music genre, for example, two of my close friends, Alexandre Piquant, so the CEO of Helvepic, as well as Sébastien Vanière, who is a really good friend of mine, and he is like this conductor for Telefantasy, and he's really good at. I love what he does. So yeah, basically both of them talked to me about, like, they briefly mentioned Woodkid, as like years ago when we were planning for the World of Warcraft concerts, and that's when I kind of became aware of who Woodkid was. I didn't know so much about his background, but I heard about the famous Woodkid music that was used in Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed trailer. I think it was Assassin's Creed Revelations or something like that. And the use of that music was absolutely spectacular and mind-blowing. And that's when I saw Woodkid is really incredible with what he does, this whole production that he does. I'm not sure if he's the only one that does all the music. I think he works with other people. But yeah, I love seeing music artists who tap into the epic music genre and use it to tell a story or to associate that with video games or with movies and TV shows. And I think in the case of Death Stranding 2, specifically Hideo Kojima, we all know he loves to listen to a variety of music and that he uses those to find a way to integrate them into his games to tell the story. But I do think that Hideo Kojima understands the notion and the importance of the epic music genre and how that can really elevate the story of a video game. So it's really cool to see Hideo Kojima work with Woodkid to create a brand new song for Death Stranding 2. I believe Woodkid has done several new songs for Death Stranding, but for today, we are going to be listening to The Wilder. I will also admit that this is not the first time that I've listened to this song. I have listened to it at the start of the year when I was going through my heartbreak. I saw this song as a way to elevate myself from the abyss that I was in, to kind of like to free myself from the darkness that I felt I was being surrounded by, and this song has been kind of like a source of comfort for me. And I haven't listened to this song since the beginning of this year. So I'm not dreading this. I think it's good to kind of like acknowledge that, there are certain songs that are very close and dear to my heart, and that they've helped me through difficult times as well. So I'm going to be reacting to this, and I'll kind of like explain a little bit my feelings. I think I'm able to process my feelings a little bit better this time around. In the beginning of the year, I don't need to get into the details, but this song is really, for me, it's very emotional. So let's listen to this song together. But as always, guys, before we do, grab your favorite drink. I've got my Beyond Good and Evil 2 mug, which I absolutely love for obvious reasons, because I've worked as a vocalist on the second game, and to kind of commemorate the work that I had done for the game, I wanted to get myself that mug. So yeah. And there's water inside. It's really hot today, so I just need some water. All right, so let us react to The Wilder from Woodkid from the video game Death Stranding 2.
To all the words that I won't get to say, the things that time steals and turns to pain. If it's not love to let you leave again, I don't know what is. But if you doubt and question what the future holds, remember there's no place you can't go home. To all the roads that we are yet to pave, the dreams that stillness entertains and slays. Now if my love for you won't make you stay, I don't know what will. You will never leave a trace where you walk. If the only path you take's the one you're told, so walk away, I'll find you. So far away, I'll lead you to the
Okay, let's stop right here. Oh no. Yeah, I thought I could handle better than that, but Okay. All right. Let me just have a moment, right, guys? Oh gosh. You know, this is going to be one of those songs that, you can listen to it a number of times and the impact will still stay the same. The impact will still stay the same. Okay, let me collect my thoughts. So, there's so many things to say about this song, right? I think about, when I think about the lyrics, okay, let's just quickly bring up the lyrics, right? So, and then maybe for you guys, you might understand why when I listen to this song, I listen to it over and over again, as I saw it as a way to kind of like acknowledge my own heartbreak and to comfort myself as well. Let's look at the lyrics, right? To all the words that I won't get to say, the things that time steals and turns to pain. If it's not love to let you leave again, I don't know what is. But if you doubt and question what the future holds, remember, there's no place you can't call home. Oh, goodness me. The incredible thing about these lyrics is that Woodkid has found a way to take all the emotions and really put them down into words in a way that we can truly relate to all the words that I won't get to say. It is so accurate than anybody who has gone through heartbreaks. And, I'm sure there's so many of you guys out there. My heart, I'm sending all my love to you guys as well, because you guys understand what I'm going through. The words are so relatable. The lyrics are so relatable. The things that time steals and turns to pain. Woodkid in the verses, he just really puts down the way things are, the way things are, the situation and the emotions that are associated with it. I believe it's something in songwriting that we call object writing. You take an object and then you describe a little bit about the object. And if you want to go further, you describe how you feel about the object. And he does that so well with these lyrics. But if you doubt and question what the future holds, remember there's no place you can't call home. And, then again, coming back to this, oftentimes when we are so wrapped up in our own pain and in our own heartbreak, we often forget that we do have people that surround us and that are there to support us and to carry us through the very difficult times. That there is a home for us. When we talk about home, there are lots of feelings that are associated with that. Oftentimes it is the place of comfort, a place of support, the place where you can be yourself and where you can, just open up as much as you can normally, right? So, that's why sometimes people say this is a second place. This is a second home to me. It is a place where I feel comfortable and safe and happy and all that stuff, So yeah, this is like Woodkid has a really incredible way of playing not only with the lyrics, but also with the instrumentation that goes with it, right? So here in the lyrics, as you guys heard in the beginning, we had like very soft strings and I think a little bit of piano, if I'm not mistaken. And it is so beautiful, It is, sometimes we all kind of like weep in silence. And I think the instruments that very accurately depict the weeping in silence part is actually, they're actually strings and a little bit of the piano, because especially when the piano like plays the chords only, and the choice of chords in that section. It's beautiful. I can't tell exactly what's the chord structure, but this mix between strings and piano chords combined with the lyrics, actually there are very few instruments, and that allows for the lyrics to have way more space and strength, you know? So I find that the orchestration together with the lyrics, the way it's all combined together, is really, really smart. The lyrics are not overpowered by the orchestration. When we go to verse 2, to all the roads that we are yet to pave, the dreams that stillness entertains and slays. That's so smart. I'll get to that point in a second. Let me just continue on. Now, if my love for you won't make you stay, I don't know what will. You will never leave a trace where you walk. If the only path you take, there's the one you're told. It is so, like, let me just come back to what I reacted to just now. The dreams that stillness entertains and slays. This is very smart songwriting like there. This songwriting is very visual, and that's why I'm saying it's so smart, because it's taking the term, the dreams, the dreams, and it's giving like two different aspects or even consequences to it. You know, the dreams that stillness entertains and slays. The dreams that start small, that are still kind of brewing, right? Either that, you know, you entertain that dream, you entertain that idea, you help it develop, or you have that dream, if it doesn't go so well, that gets crushed. But instead of crush, slays. You know? The dreams that stillness entertains and slays. It is beautiful the way the lyrics are written. And of course, I'm sure there are lots of connections to the video game lore, which, by the way, I haven't played Death Stranding 2 yet, and I've yet to finish Death Stranding, the first game, so I'll get to that. But it is really, really smart. It is really, really well written. Then we jump to the chorus, and it is, so walk away, I'll find you. So far away, I'll reach you, to the wilder, to the wilder, to the wilder you. I don't know why, but this part, you know, oh boy. When it comes to the chorus has the least variety of words, let's just say that. But they are perfect, because everything that is said in that chorus is the buildup, is the climax of what the two verses were talking about. The two verses are talking about the personal struggles. They're talking about the situations that we are confronted with, and that there's a lot of pain and sadness and sorrow. And in the chorus, we flip that all around by offering hope and maybe some sort of resolution. So walk away, I'll find you. So far away, I'll reach you. To the wilder. For me, like, when I think that part gets me so emotional, because no matter how far away from each other, like, no matter how far we walk, we will be found. No matter how far away we are, we'll be reached out to. But we just gotta keep on going. We just gotta keep on going, no matter how much it hurts and no matter what we're going through. And that's why I love this song so much, and it has been such a source of comfort for me. It's kind of like this sort of nice warm blanket that you put around yourself when you get out of a river that you've been dragged into, like, and that you've been swimming in, and that you've been trying to get out of this like fast currents and all that you've struggled so much. And then once you've reached, the I don't know, not the beach or anything like that, or, just reach like land, basically, that you crawl out, and right there, for some reason, there's this towel, there's this blanket that is warm, and you put it around yourself, and you can comfort yourself, and you feel good, That's the feeling I'm getting from this song. I'm kind of glad that I can sort of like talk about this with you guys, just because I know how much I've struggled this year, at the start of the year, and I will not go into details. This is not the place to talk about it, of course, but we've all been there, and this song is my comfort song when I went through my heartbreak, to get the emotions out, get all the tears out, and to find hope among the pain and the sadness. All right, I'll have a quick sip now. Hydrate myself after crying some tears. Yeah, maybe I'll take another drop. And let's move on with the rest of the song.
To all the walls that we are meant to break, part of us that still remains untamed. We must be more than animals in chains. It's a poison that kills. Would you let the wind tell you where to go? If you can break fate and prove it wrong, so walk away, I'll find you. So far away, I'll reach you.
I keep forgetting. That build-up. That incredible build-up. You can have such an incredible build-up and not use loud instruments as one would expect, It is, that song is incredible. It is so incredible, guys. Gosh, as you guys maybe seen in my reaction, when we came to the second verse, the mood of the lyrics changed, like the mood of the song changed a little bit. Let's talk quickly about instrumentation. In the beginning, we had piano and strings, right? But then and maybe some sound design, I'll have to listen to it again. But when we came to the the third verse, so the verse after the first chorus, when we arrived at the third verse, which is the verse right after the first chorus, the mood changes immediately because we have more strings. We have tubular bells that are used there. So tubular bells are a form of percussion. They sound like bells, like these deep bells. They don't look like bells. They look like these sort of big tubes, but they're pretty fantastic. But I wouldn't recommend standing right next to one when they're hit. It's very loud. Anyway, tubular bells. And let me see, what else did we have? In the second we have...
That we are meant to break.
Yes, so not only do we have tubular bells, we have other forms of percussive instruments. We have this sort of thunder sheet that you can hear. These are like metal sheets that you hit on, and it just sounds like thunder, basically. You know, like we also have some snare drums in the background, and let me see, what else do we have? We have like a bass drum, but I think it's more of kind of like an electronic bass drum. And it's the one that is like very muffled, and it sounds a little bit like a heartbeat. And I think that is kind of the intention, because in this verse, starting from this verse right after the first chorus, things are picking up. The choice of rhythm, I think even the rhythm sounds a little bit like a heartbeat. And you have the tubular bells that kind of like sound like are elements that indicate doom, for me personally. And the thunder sheets are, you know, references to, you know, when you think about Death Stranding, you think about rain, you think about maybe a little bit of lightning and thunder. And I think it's such a smart choice. But when this thunder sheet is used, it's quite subtle, you know. It's kind of almost like saying you're in a situation of doom and there's imminent danger, kind of like lingering, looming, you know. You have the snares that are playing, and it's the type of snare that you often hear in military music, right? It's the snare that dum da 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 dum da 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 dum, or something like that, right? Not exactly that kind of pattern or rhythm, but it's something that you hear that, you know, indicates like someone marching towards a very specific goal or a specific direction, you know, like, or, you know, just kind of this marching idea. And when you think a little bit about Death Stranding, it's all about, you know, there's a lot of marching, a lot of walking going on, but there's always a specific destination. And so when you hear the orchestration, we get the kind of feeling that this person is marching towards a specific direction for a very specific reason, towards a specific goal, despite the danger that is surrounding him or her. So it is very smart, because the music itself, the orchestration, it is very kind of like, it's more dramatic and melancholic. But then when you listen to the lyrics, and that's where I think it's super smart, because it's a huge contrast. And I think that's where also, like, when I reacted to this, like, you guys saw me, like, I started a little bit smiling a bit. Maybe not right away, but it kind of like was coming. So let me read the lyrics to you guys, okay? To all the walls that we are meant to break, the part of us that still remains untamed, we must be more than animals in chains. It's a poison that kills. Would you let the wind tell you where to go? There we go. I think that's where I started. Around that area is where I started smiling. If you can brave fate and prove it wrong. It is so beautiful, these lyrics. gosh. Because here in these lyrics, let's just take a person. This person is confronted, like clearly this person is confronted with so many obstacles to all the walls that we are meant to break. There are walls surrounding us, the part of us that still remains untamed. And I think that's where I really love, kind of breaking down the lyrics for you, because when we start breaking down the lyrics and then after combining that with the orchestration and instrumentation, it's actually pretty genius. The lyrics put us in a situation where we are confronted with so many obstacles. And it also makes us aware of our emotions as we experience these obstacles, right? So for example, to all the walls that we are meant to break, so we are surrounded by walls and they're still there and we're meant to break them, okay? Let's just say that. The part of us that still remains untamed. Now, this is where I think, that's where I think the songwriting is very smart and even like a little bit philosophical. When we all go through heartbreaks, right, we discover something inside of ourselves that we've yet to explore. And that is something that only happens when you experience a heartbreak. And that is very smart. That part of us that still remains untamed. This is a feeling that we all get to feel as we experience those heartbreaks. And it's smart. It's genius. It's genius. We must be more than animals in chains. It's a poison that kills. We are tethered to something. We are tethered to our situation, to, let's say, our heartbreak. And because we are tethered in that situation, we feel like it's killing us, It's so smart. It's so smart. Would you let the wind tell you where to go? We use the term wind because it's an element of nature that is free and that you are unable to contain and to hold and to grasp and to tell where to go, basically. So the wind, it's so smart. If you can brave fate and prove it wrong. Yeah. I think I get a little bit emotional in that part because heartbreak puts us in a situation of feeling a lot of hopelessness and a lot of pain. If you can brave fate and prove it wrong, I mean, it's up to everybody's own interpretation, and I don't want to influence anybody's, opinion on this and all that. But when I hear this, if you can brave fate, for me, it's kind of like saying, my fate is to have experienced this heartbreak. The brave steps that I have to take is to prove that heartbreak is not permanent. It is a part of you, but it is a part that will allow you to grow and become stronger. Sometimes it's still a little bit hard for me to see this because, as you guys can see, I still get so emotional about it. But I think, that's why music will always be there for me. Let's just put it like that. I think that's why I love music so much. Music is the one thing that I know will always be there for me, and is probably one of my first love. Let's just say that. And so far it's the one that has never abandoned me, basically, and has always been there for me. So yeah, music is amazing, guys. And I love the fact that we can use music to come to terms with our own struggles and to grow from them. So walk away, I'll find you. So far away, I'll reach you to the wilder. Like, there's not a lot of words in the chorus. And I think it, like I said, it's perfect because the right words were chosen to encompass everything that is experienced in the verses, everything that is described in the verses. And it is that we are confronted with struggles. We are surrounded with danger, metaphorically speaking, I think. But that we should not feel like we are tethered to our situations, and we should move on and move forward and go as far as we can to the wilder, to the place where things are still untapped and wild and something that is unknown to us, so that we can experience once again the joys of life. This is what I interpret from this whole song and from this whole performance. Now, I just also want to do a quick segment about Woodkid's vocal performance. Aside from the songwriting, which I think is like super smart and beautifully written, the vocal performance is pretty insane. I don't know if you guys have seen the reel that he shared on his Instagram page, but he goes on to explain the different registers in his vocal performance. He starts with like his baritone voice in the first and second verse, I think. In part of the final parts of those verses, he kind of like goes a little bit higher. And then in the chorus, the first part of the chorus, he's in his falsetto. And then in the second part of that chorus, he goes into his belting range. And I think it's super fascinating because he has such a wide range in his vocal performance. And he describes that when he goes into his belting range, it is in the area that is kind of like smack between like the head voice or the falsetto and the chest voice. And that area in between is very difficult because it's the area where the voice could be very easily unstable. Now, he managed to either go into that head voice, right? Or he managed to have like a more beltier and fuller sound when he reached that area, and he did that so beautifully. This song is so good, guys. It is amazing. Now, when we get to the bridge, I love the fact that he uses elements of the environment, elements of the journeys that are made in these environments. To all the mountains, all the rivers, to all the strays, the trailblazers, to what it takes to walk forever, to what it takes to be who we are, who we are. The bridge so clearly gives a very visual idea of the journey that people take. You know, of course, we can talk about the mountains and the rivers, but think more about like what they could represent. The mountains, you know, when you have to climb a mountain, it is high and it is steep, and it requires you to really use every muscle in your body, and you have to focus on your breathing, and you have to check your hands to make sure that they're not getting, they're not getting fat. If you're a hiker like me, then you probably know what I'm talking about. But anyway, like climbing the mountain. And then the rivers, some of the rivers, they have these strong currents, not all of them are super peaceful. So sometimes the rivers, they pull you in certain directions and you have no control over it, no matter how hard you struggle or how hard you fight or swim against it. To all the strays, because when we travel, sometimes we feel like we don't have a home. We're just traveling and we're going in a certain direction. The trailblazers, the one who takes the initiative to go on those journeys, to explore everything, to take on the world, as people would say it, to what it takes to walk forever, to what it takes to be who we are. When we go on this journey, it is sometimes such a long journey. We experience so many things. We experience, lots of moments of joys and happiness, lots of moments of struggles and obstacles. And all of this whole experience during that journey, in the end, defines who we are, helps us define us. So you see, this songwriting is so smart and amazing. And in this kind of situation, I think about the things that I've gone through and who I am as a person these days. I've climbed so many mountains. I've struggled against the current of so many rivers. I have felt like I've been one of those strays lost in the wilderness, but I have been the one who has been so tempted by new experiences and by discovering different things that makes this world so amazing. And so I take the decision to go on that journey. And as I keep on walking, and as I come to the point where I am right now, I see how everything has defined me as a person. And this is what this bridge is all about. And it is amazing. It is amazing, and I experienced this heartbreak, and it was so difficult, and it is still so difficult for me to get over it. But it is a part of who I am, and whatever came before, I am grateful for that experience. And to some extent, maybe, I'm grateful that this heartbreak has made me feel more alive and appreciative of the people that I care about and the life that I live and the person that I am today. And that no matter what, my love for music will never waver. And that's why I love it so much. I love what I do. Gosh, wow. I also just want to come to the outro, because as you noticed while I was reacting, I noticed like there was this sort of sound design that I was trying to make out. I couldn't tell exactly what it is. I'll have to listen to it again. Give me a second. Yeah, and also the orchestration in the bridge, it is the strings are more prominent, and there's this like, and they're kind of like in the higher register, like, and they are so like, you feel this sort of like, it's not like it's pulling at, like, it's clutching at your heart, basically. It is so like, combine that with the lyrics, it's just like, it's such an intense moment, and your emotions are running all over the place. Oh, and it is so beautiful. And then when we get to the outro, right, we have suddenly this moment where the orchestration, the instruments are gone, except for the piano, I believe. Let me check. Okay, so it is not really a piano. I think it's some sort of like a synthesizer or something like that, like a key, but where they kind of like modulated a little bit the sound, modified it a bit, kind of like some DPXs or something like that. I'm not sure, but it's definitely like a synthesizer, but kind of like really with very kind of like, not, I wouldn't say dull, but it's kind of like more mellow sound to it, okay? And I was trying to listen to the sound design at that moment, the atmospheric sound there is definitely something going on there. It sounds it almost sounds like a clock ticking, but it's not exactly that. It's something. Could it, like, because there's definitely something where you feel like it's like something waving, right? You can actually hear it when you listen. I thought at first it might be some sort of like a clock, but not your typical clock, but just something that sort of waves, I think. I'm definitely getting a feeling that it has something to do with time. Maybe like a hourglass, maybe even, come to think of it. Well, no, it doesn't. No, maybe not an hourglass, but something to indicate some either like a wind or passage of time or something like that. It's really like, and it's very pleasant to listen to. But it has a bit of a sad connotation to it, especially when played together and alongside with the synthesizers that we're hearing. So really, really incredible instrumentation and orchestration overall. But wow, I'm just blown away by this song. It is so, so beautiful. It made me feel so many things, even despite the fact that I had heard that song so many times at the beginning of the year when I was going through what I was going through. And it still, to this day, brings out so many emotions. But what I love about what I'm doing here right now with you guys is that I'm finally able to put words into the emotions that I was experiencing. And I guess I'm really thankful to you guys for allowing me to use this platform to do this. So yeah, wow. This song was really, really incredible to listen to re-listen to. And Woodkid is definitely Woodkid is such an incredible songwriter, composer, and performer. Really, really incredible. So yeah, this was To the Wilder by Woodkid from Death Stranding 2 on the beach. And this was quite the I can't even speak anymore. This was quite the ride. I really, really enjoyed being able to listen to this song again and tell you guys what I was feeling and me breaking down the song. So thank you again, guys, so much for, just sticking around and listening to me ramble about this. This is so amazing. I just love this so much. I love this so much. Before we finish this video, I wanted to quickly tell you guys a few things. First of all, as you might have noticed, I have something very special in my hands. This is the World of Warcraft 20 Years of Music concert vinyl set, which my company and I have produced and that we've worked on together with Blizzard Entertainment. And I was sent this about like a couple of weeks ago from Charlotte Pyle at Blizzard Entertainment, the senior producer too. And I just wanted to take this moment to show you guys how amazing this vinyl set is. I don't know if you guys could see it. It is so beautiful. It is the same concert vinyl set in which you have Swiss music artists that are in it. We had like 3 different choirs totaling like 120 singers from Tale of Fantasy, Ardito Choir, and Madrid Jazz Gospel Choir. And this is kind of like physical proof that we worked on this concert. As some of you may know, like producing this concert, it took, 2 years of our lives to produce, to prepare for. And all I want to say is like, this was sent to me by Charlotte Pyle, senior music producer too at Blizzard Entertainment. She's part of the music department there. And she, along with Derek Duke, the music director, they have been so essential in the production of this concert. And I think I just want to take this moment to really thank them for all the hard work that they've done on this, on making these concerts happen. Of course, also to Blizzard Entertainment as well. There's so many people who worked on this project. Epic as well, by the way. The 21st Century Orchestra as well. There's so many people who worked on this, and it's hard for me to thank one group and not thank the others. So many people have made this happen, and this vinyl set was made by Mondo, and I do think there's some of them that are still available. So if you guys like World of Warcraft music, really epic music in the best way and shape and form, and you want to hear it live by one of the best orchestras out there, without a doubt, for me, I'm maybe a little bit biased, but they are really incredible, then I highly recommend that you guys go get yourselves this vinyl set. It is so beautiful. And also, I wanted to thank Mondo for this copy that they sent. Together with Charlotte Pyle, they collaborated to send me a copy of this vinyl. So I'm really, really thankful towards them. So this is so, so beautiful. And this is like my vinyl, this is actually, you can actually hear my voice in it, because I sing the solo part for Invincible from World of Warcraft, Wrath of the Lich King expansion. It is such a difficult solo, not gonna lie, especially for a rock vocalist like me. I had to take a lot of classical singing lessons to really fully prepare myself for it. I cherish the experience, and I am grateful for everybody who was involved in this, from Epic, from all the artists, from Blizzard Entertainment, Mondo for this incredible, incredible set that they created. So really, to everybody involved in the making of this concert, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It really helped me through some very difficult times. So this is one of the journeys that I made that has defined me as a person today. And has made me recognize my own skills as well as my own limits. So again, thank you to everybody who was involved in this. Also, I wanted to let you guys know that I was interviewed by JVMag, the French online news magazine. They cover everything related to pop culture and gaming. So my friend Robin is a journalist who works there, and he came to me and said he wanted to start a series of portraits on that website about people who are working in the field of gaming, of pop culture and entertainment. And I happen to be working a little bit in all of those fields. And I'm apparently the first one in his series of portraits. So if you want to learn more about my own journey and the things that I do and what I'm involved with, I highly recommend you go check it out. And if you like what JVMag does, I really recommend that you go check out more of their stuff and support them as much as you can. All right, guys, so we are now coming at the end of the video. So what did you guys think of the song? What did you think about the vocal performance, the songwriting, the orchestration? How does that all tie to the game for you guys? How do you guys relate to it when you listen to the lyrics, when you hear the orchestration? How do you visualize yourselves within the setting of this song? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you guys want me to react to next. I'll definitely come back to some Clair Obscur, but if you guys want me to continue with some Death Stranding, I'm happy to do this. Until then, guys, have a great summer. Stay hydrated. Stay safe from the sun. Go swimming if you want to. Go hiking if you'd like to. Lots of love from me. Lots of good musical vibes as well. And I will catch you on the next reaction video. Mwah! Bye, guys.